What if you could leap into the life you've always wanted faster than you've ever thought? Hi, I'm Tracy from the Money Boss Show. If you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to quantum leap into the life of your dreams and keep on leaping higher. I am so excited for this episode. We're going to talk about what a quantum leap is, and I'm actually going to define it and share the details that many of the other influencers fail to tell you. I'm going to make it real and connect the woo and the do. I'm going to share stories of my quantum leap moments to help you understand. And one of the biggest misunderstood things about quantum leaps, what it really is, and results, and how to continue leaping onwards after you have your first quantum leap. So stay to the end because some of the most important stuff happens as the video progresses. I want to set the stage, break it down, and walk you through quantum leaping like nobody else out there will. Are you ready? Let's do this. So, what is a quantum leap? It is not just incremental change, it's exponential transformation. It's a sudden and massive breakthrough that takes you far beyond just small incremental progress. Instead of small steps forward, it's a big jump into new results, opportunities, and realities. In life, it's kind of like saying when you skip levels, you're going from not much happening to a much higher place. So, what does that mean, Tracy? So, that would be going from struggling financially to landing a big opportunity that changes everything. It'd be one of the big ones and the starting foundation for everybody. And the smaller, unsexy ones that YouTube influencers don't share with you is breaking free of limiting beliefs and stepping into a new identity that attracts abundance. And most importantly, if you're a person that's in a job, you're stuck, you're broke, you're unhappy, you have this nagging feeling that you're meant for more, but you just keep on living the same day. I'm going to show you how to actually quantum leap and get out of that. So, different examples would be from there. Just learning that your reality is based on your past conditioning, thoughts, beliefs, actions, behaviors, and that if you get new information, you can change your life. That right there begins a quantum leap. And then for people that have been in this game a little bit longer, it's up leveling their career, going to their dream job. It can even be attracting your spouse after a series of bad relationships. And other examples for people that are in business, let's say they're a consultant, a therapist, a graphic designer, and they're so stuck in day-to-day work or one-on-one consultations that they max out, right? You only have so many working hours in a day. And if you are actually physically working with somebody one on one, your income taps out really quick, even though your hourly wage may be good. So, I'm going to walk you through some of the lingo that other YouTube influencers use, and I'm going to connect that woo floating, just dreamy type concept that a lot of people throw out there. And I'm actually going to connect it with the do and the real life, because I'll let you in on a secret. I built a media company, two media companies, 17 years ago. I'm 43. I've been in my career for a fair number of years. I set out and created a leading media company in the agriculture and recreational industries, competing against media giants. 17 years learning, quantum leaping, doing all these things of reality creation, as I refer to it. And lately, now, in the past, it was a lot of law of attraction. And then it was now the law of assumption. And then now, everywhere you go on YouTube, it's quantum leap. And I'll let you in on a secret. I've been making a lot of money and doing it for a long time. And I'm like, wow, I like this quantum leaping. What is this? Maybe I need to make a quantum leap. And here's the thing, I was a little bit embarrassed because I was watching these videos and trying to understand what I've been missing as a person in the trenches that has made a lot of money and built a lot of wealth and done it. And then I started digging in and watching a lot of these. And here is a pet peeve that I have. We live in the information era, which is phenomenal. We live in the ability to quickly create companies, launch it, quickly create media companies, channels, and communicate. Beautiful, because that's what gives you and I equal footing with what used to be the people with money. Now we all have the ability to start and get going. But here's the thing, it's almost buyer beware on the internet. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with people that are doing law of attraction, law of assumption, quantum leap videos. But if you're left wondering what it is at the end and it sounds like magical, they're not doing their job. And while every influencer creator needs to be sharing because they have a good take and perspective, I've learned that not everybody out there has reached the results that they are portraying. They may have a beautiful aura, a vibe, a way about them, a beautiful background, pictures on the beach, and talking about all these concepts. But if they can't explain how these big concepts work in your day to day, and they leave you more confused and wishful and fearful and etc. at the end of their video, chances are they may not have actually achieved the results. They are just going online, learning what a quantum leap is, learning law of attraction, repeating it, putting great thumbnails, attractive pictures, and going viral. So I'm not saying anybody's doing anything wrong, but there are levels. There's people that'll rent a jet or rent a palace. You can do this as an influencer and put themselves in front of that. And we automatically are cued from those wealth statuses. They might go out and get into their 1950s beat up, rusty vehicle and drive back to their house in welfare housing. You don't know. So be careful what you listen to. And it's just a tale of a caution. Would I want it any other way? No, because if we don't have this freedom to share and speak, there's no information getting out here. When I started 17 years ago, the information was limited. So the more that you can consume from people and get into their vibration and take nuggets here and there, great. But if you want to learn about a quantum leap and how to make money, that's what my channel's for. So I digress. Quantum leap. We shared what it is. So how do you quantum leap, Tracy? So I'm going to talk about a few things, but I want to lay the foundation with a few quotes and ideas. So what got you here is not going to get you to your next level. You need to love the person that you are. Don't shame, don't guilt, don't belittle yourself. Don't think you're not making progress. What I've learned after 43 years is the journey is the journey. We're not meant to have it all at the beginning when we're born. Otherwise, we would. But I've now come to realize that's the beauty and the excitement. What kind of hero's journey would we be on as an individual if we knew everything? I mean, it'd be fun. And if we start off with all the wealth and everything we wanted, it'd be fun. But what would be the challenge? If we knew everything, what would be the challenge? It wouldn't be. So, as much as we hate failure and we hate not knowing, that is the game. Think of it as a video game if you want. You get skills, you learn, you pick up prizes, you master these levels. So, what you got you here won't get you there. The information, your thoughts and beliefs, your feelings, your actions got you the results you got today. So the more you can get new information, thoughts, and beliefs up here, the more you change the reality creation framework. And I'm tying the do and the boots on the ground information about how to actually create your reality and create money, not just the airy fairy concepts that sound good and make you believe that you don't actually have to work for it. Don't stop, because the sooner you fall in love with hard work, grit, determination, journey, the sooner you're going to be able to lock on and chase after your dreams. Nobody teaches you that. They want to say quantum leap and leave you believing that it's like, okay, I put it on my vision board. I want a quantum leap to owning that castle. Unless you have a very rich relative that has a castle or a lot of money where they pass away and you can then inherit and buy that castle, you ain't quantum leaping into that. Or unless you win the lottery. Here's the things people don't tell you. If you want a life that's different than what you have and what the masses have, 98% of people can't find $400 in the event of emergency. If you want a life different than the masses, you need to be different and do different and have different eventually. So we're going to go over that. So if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. One of my favorite sayings ever, because in 1 to 2 sentences, that tells you that if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So if you want to get what you don't have, you got to do what you haven't done. And that's what quantum leaping is. And here is the misunderstood information. You got to get in the game in order to start quantum leaping. Exactly like I just said, if you put it on your vision board and then you're wishing and hoping and dreaming and thinking you're going to quantum leap, that's what a lot of these influencers leave you thinking, that there's something outside of you that's going to come and make this happen. You are it. You're the hero in your journey. You are the doer. You are the maker. You are the creator. You're the one that's going to attract, create, manifest, create, quantum leap, create, and align, and do, and achieve, and grow. Does that make sense? So, what is a quantum leap? Well, first off, what do you want to achieve? You need clarity on exactly what you want, because if you don't know where you're going, any road's going to take you there. So let's say you want to be self-employed, or you want to start a graphic design freelancing company. Define what you want, concrete, not just, I want money. I mean, that's a good starting point because it'll help you navigate forward with that desire. But what exactly do you want? Because if you have clear goals, your brain is a success seeking mechanism, like a missile. It has a guidance system. If you tell your brain that you want to create a graphic design company and start offering freelance services on the internet, your brain's like, oh, okay, I'm going to be on the watch. How can we do this? And it starts going. If you tell your brain that you want to make money, it'll be like, okay, win a lottery, inherit, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The more specific we can be, the more specific we give our brain directions to start guiding us. You need to align with your thoughts and beliefs, your energy, and your actions. Here is where we fail to guide our audience when we're teaching them about law of attraction, law of assumption, manifesting, quantum leaping. It's you. Nothing outside of you is going to make it happen. I love to say money is created on 3 levels: the metaphysical, the mindset, and the physical. So, the reality creation framework that I talk about endlessly, because that's how everything happens. You create your reality whether you know it or not. Your reality is based on your thoughts and beliefs. Your thoughts and beliefs are based on your conditioning from 0 to 7, everyone that was around you, and everything since. If you get new thoughts and beliefs, you feel different, you act different, and you get different results. So let's go over that. You'll hear words about energy alignment, choose your environment, courage, integration, and momentum. Let me make those words real to you, because again, so many people don't break it down. I've been doing this for 17 years. And what is energy alignment? What is momentum? What is integration? I'm going to tell you what that has meant to me. So, your thoughts and beliefs. If you think you are destined to be fourth generation poverty and there's no hope, Watch a video like this. I'm going to tell you, you're creating your reality. Look at many of the people that have created great wealth. They started from very humble, terrible beginnings. Why? Because they made a decision that they're not going to live like they were raised. And then, with that grit and perseverance, they set out to figure out how to improve their life. And then they learned that others did it. Their thoughts and beliefs changed. And then they felt different. They're like, gosh darn it, if that guy can do it, why can't I? I had those moments. One of them was a lawyer that I met with to sell advertising. And in my mind, a lawyer is what I had wanted to be when I was younger. So that was like the career pinnacle. I decided not to pursue it. But I sat down with him a bit like he was that God, like society has taught us be an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, those jobs. The world's changing, but we're still taught that. I sit down to sell him advertising, had a real conversation, and this guy let out that he was a real human being with flaws. I'm like, gosh darn it, if this guy who's telling me these things can be a lawyer and make a lot of money, heck, I almost feel smarter than him. Why can't I? My thoughts and beliefs changed in that moment. My feelings then changed, and it gave me a pep in my step. And I'm like, oh, do you mean that nobody's really like, if this guy's smart and he's a lawyer and top of the pinnacle in society, and I'm feeling like I know more than he does? The conversation was startling. My feelings changed about my potential and my ability to make money. So if my feelings changed, I now got a pep in my step and I took action because I once again felt like it was for me. I took new action, I got new results. And my life has been a series of those moments, getting new thoughts and beliefs, feeling different, acting different, and getting new results. And for those watching the video, I'm going to flip that instead of doing it this way. I'm going to flip it. And it's more of an upside down tornado. So you have thoughts and beliefs, you have feelings, actions, and then you get results. And a secret is results don't come immediately. You need to sort through the time lag of unbecoming who you are and then making a new future. That doesn't happen. And whether you're manifesting, assuming your reality, attracting, or quantum leaping, one of the big things they fail to tell you is results don't follow immediately. And the experts in quantum leaping are going to say, no, Tracy, a quantum leap is a big change. But here's the thing, we need to start the game by realizing that we can do it. That is one of the biggest quantum leaps you'll ever have when you go, holy Dinah, I can make a lot of money. Like I'm eating ramen noodles every day, Tracy. When you have that moment, that is the biggest quantum leap of your life because you can't undo the moment that you see that nobody is more special than you and you have everything it takes inside of you to create the life of your dreams. That's your number one quantum leap moment. And from there, it's going to be series of getting a new job, getting a promotion, making more money. Nobody, as a rule, quantum leaps from today to having a castle. You just don't do that. In some readings I've heard, it's like going from the bottom floor in a skyscraper straight to the top. The rare person does it, and good for them. That might be part of their journey. But here's the thing, that's not the reality for most people. There are steps to getting to the top, and it's a journey. And while getting there, essentially, the skills and making a lot of money being a business owner isn't that hard. It's becoming the person that knows how to get to the skyscraper, that knows how to hold that amount of wealth and pressure. New levels, new devils. So that's why the universe helps us step into the next level. How the quantum leaps are usually slower. It's smaller versions. And yes, you can do big ones that are big quantum leaps. But from my experience, and I think we would do justice, when we're teaching about money, quantum leaps start smaller. It's seeing yourself as worthy, knowing it's an option for you, getting in the game, taking a course, getting a promotion, launching your side hustle. Those quantum leaps are slow. And you know what? They're slow in terms of financial, tangible results, but you got to get in the game. If you want to climb the mountain, you got to start from base camp, don't you? You can't just get up there. Well, maybe you can hire a helicopter to drop you off, but that was no mountain climb, was it? So you start at base camp and you start going up the levels. And then all of a sudden, you're going to make a quantum leap in money when you're in the game and you got the skills, right? So that's what it means when they say how to make a quantum leap. Get in the game, get new thoughts and beliefs, which change the way you feel. And at that point, you need to take inspired action. Let's say this video comes across. You start watching more of my videos, or you keep on seeing this book. Here's the thing, the universe sprinkles its magic, the law of attraction, the law of assumption, the law of compensation. When you get the mindset that you can do it and you get in the game physically, you're working on the two planes. All the 12 laws of the universe are going to go, Tracy's in the game, let's help her. Because when you are in the game, the universe conspires in your favor to line it up. I truly believe each of us have a destiny and we have a nudge. And the funny thing, I've been building a company for 17 years and loved it and got the nudges and changed the way I thought and believed and felt and acted in my results for 17 years to get to where I am. 17 years. My progress and my wealth creation has been slow and steady. I'm going to tell you it is for a majority of people. Until you get a base foundation, a solid person that understands it, like me, not to pat myself on the back, 17 years of doing it as a business owner, and then probably 17 more of studying mindset and how to become that person, getting a job, up leveling, starting my own business, going from there. So get in the game if you want to quantum leap. And then quantum leap will mean different things in your career and different levels of money. So if you're not getting to the castle and the millions of dollars right away, I'm going to let you know a secret, as I did. It doesn't happen that way for people. We need to get in the game, have the mini quantum leaps that aren't quite the dream life to get to the top of the mountain, which is the dream life. Does that make sense? And you got to keep the momentum after every quantum leap. So here's a secret. This is full of secrets. Honestly, I could create the Money Boss show, remove pretty much all the videos, keep 4 of them, and that's all you need to know about wealth creation. But I love talking about this, and there's so many intricate nuances and lessons and just as I've received from other thought leaders and wealth creators. I want to share that with you because every time you hear it, every time you engage in this type of content, you are engaging in the vibration of wealth and changing your thoughts and beliefs, right? I had one time had a person ask me, well, why do you continue to read books about wealth? Surprisingly, it's because listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks, listening to wealth creation keeps me in the vibration of wealth so that I can continue to think and believe, feel, do, and attract the results, create the results that I want. If I just tuned into the radio and started listening to poverty programming, I would slide backwards. And I have. And that's how you get the contrast. And you're like, ooh, enough of that garbage. Enough of listening to reality TV, the news. Shut that out, create your own reality. So here's the next thing I want to share with you, the be, do, have principle. Most people think you have to have it and then you're going to do it and then you'll be it. So when I have money, I'll do the things and then I'll be happy. The reality is the opposite. It's be, do, have. So what does that mean? So everybody's always waiting for motivation, for the feeling, for the knowledge. But the secret, another secret, is you need to go before you're ready. I kind of think of it just like rolling this big boulder. Even if you're on flat ground, to get anything moving, you just need a lot of force. You got to get moving. So, who do you want to be? If you want to be somebody, let's say you want to be a YouTube person that shares about your specialty. So, what is that person doing? They're on YouTube, they're doing it. And then what happens? Then they become the successful YouTuber. One of the secrets I learned, and I can't remember if it was in the law of attraction, The Secret, or the science of getting rich. They share that you need to act like who you want to be before you're that. It's the backwards. We're always waiting to feel like the person that's going to be successful. But we got to almost take this magical leap and almost become an actress and go, okay, if I want to be a successful business person, how do they look? How do they act? How do they feel? And some of the literature, the videos out there will tell you the person that you want to be, how do they dress? I heard that. I went and got a power suit back in the day. And then I showed up looking even better. Instead of wearing the bare minimum, a little shirt, and like what people would wear today is tights. If you want to be a top level business person, go to a big building downtown and look at what those people are wearing. Suits, dress the part. Because here's the thing, you start feeling it. Even if you're not it, you're like, wow, I feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. So if you want to be a successful business person, top level, dress like it. Then what? What do those people think, believe, watch, read? Start doing that. You're sure not going to be a successful business person if you sit watching Netflix every night. Because the truth is, the top 2%, they ain't entertaining themselves, they're educating themselves. Entertainment is the leisure time of poverty. People that are committed to changing their reality and creating wealth spend very little time leisuring, entertaining themselves. That's what the society has created to keep the masses under hypnosis, distracted so they don't take control, create their real reality, create wealth, get personal power, and build the life of their dreams. So many times I have decided to emulate people. You're not faking it, you're just being inspired. It's like having a mentor. Bob Proctor, what did he do? What did he read? That's what I did. And I started doing those things and acting better. And then I got a raise. And then the thing is, we expect to get to the top. It's not realistic. We expect it to be a quick journey. And it's not, because every single step, we're building the foundation of who we are and climbing that mountain towards our dream. Dressing, feeling, reading, take a course online. You don't even have to go back to school. Take some business courses, learn how to create courses to start your own platform to teach people graphic design. Here's going to be steps that'll eventually learn to you being monetized, creating your own business. Then it'll quantum leap into big wealth. You don't get to skip the stages for the most part. The rare person does, but often we see people's base camp at the top of the mountain, but we didn't see them starting at the base 15 years ago, 40 years ago, because every single step of our journey makes us become the person that acts that way, that starts to get the results to get to the dream. As I sit here at 43, I've built media companies, money, great wealth. I'm at this level. I am now quantum leaping to my next journey. The person I am today, I'm finally, after creating great wealth and a lot of money and 17 years in business, I'm finally going, oh, I get it. It takes a long, and I'm not projecting like people would say, it's like wealth and success doesn't have to be hard or a long time. No, I find those steps don't. becoming the person that gets there to have that big quantum leap. I'm at 43. I have the knowledge, skill sets, boots on the ground, head in the clouds, the woo, the mindset, the physical action. I understand it all. I'm about to quantum leap my career, my media companies to greater wealth at 43 years. I feel it's like base camp again, and I am now getting started to my big quantum leap. Imagine that. So change happens after you change. Your outer world mirrors your inner world. If you're a poor person, because you've been programmed that, if you're a poor person in your mind, that's what you create in your reality. If you want new results, you must change your mindset, beliefs, your feelings, your actions, then you get your result. Here's one of my secrets, and it goes back to the be, do, have, the quantum leaping, the becoming who you are before you are it. You got to find your thing. And here's ways to become, embody, act like the person you want to become. Go to no, not a library, because that's everybody. Go to a hotel where a lot of wealthy people stay. Go into the restaurant or the lounge, order a drink, and observe people. How do they carry themselves? How do they dress? How do they act? Get in the vibration and the energy of wealth by being in that environment. When people say, be in the environment of wealth, you know the saying that your wealth is equivalent to the five closest people you hang out to? It's true. If you hang out with poverty, you get poverty because that's all you see in your surrounding. That's all you hear from their words, the actions, your potential. But if you can take yourself out, just by little trips, go to an airport. I am in the middle of a quantum leap. I am on a travel into Banff, Canada, an amazing park in one of our most beautiful provinces here in Alberta. And if you go to Alberta, there are people of every culture, age, race, gender walking around. There are a lot of wealthy people that have achieved success. If you go into an environment that you are not used to, an airport, you start to see the world different. One of my biggest secrets to quantum leaping my mindset and becoming and embodying who I want to be was getting a power suit, acting nice, acting and looking like the person I wanted to become because you become it, because you create it slowly, right? I didn't come to work in a power suit and they promoted me to vice president. It didn't happen that way. But I came in a nice suit. That's not as relevant today. Workplaces aren't as dressy, but dress a little nicer than your peers. Work a little harder. Take more time to learn. Guarantee you, have a better attitude. You're going to get promoted. And that's how it all starts. For me, dressing, acting, reading, shutting off the garbage that distracts you, news, entertainment, concerts, everything they want you to do to be distracted, you shut that out. If you want to be wealthy, you need to make a decision. Here is one of my other hacks. I am on a business trip, and one of the things that have changed me is being in airports and looking at all the people that are traveling. And it takes a good amount of money to travel. And people are traveling with kids. Everybody's traveling for a different reason. Not everybody traveling is wealthy, but there's a great amount of money floating around in that airport. There's a hustle, there's an energy. When you go in situations that are different, you change. The second the plane takes off, it lifts me into another world. And I always say it's like this cap, this invisible cap expands over my brain and I become a new person. You go to a new city, you see people of all cultures doing different things, totally different. Then you realize that your small world that you have is so insignificant and just one of many potentials. Travel has been my biggest quantum leap factor, instigator. And I get that not everybody can do it. If you can, don't sit there and like leisure and watch Netflix. Watch the people. Wonder, look at the successful, well-dressed people. Think of where they're going. Talk to people. Just realize how big this world is and how small your world is. You're living a minuscule potential of what's out there for you. And that's what travel's done. And you might say, Tracy, well, I can't travel. That's okay. Get in a car, go on a bus, go downtown, drive around, and instead of being you, looking at what you'd typically look at, let's say you're always looking at the poor and going, oh my God, this world's so hard, it's tough, everybody's broke. Why don't you look at the world from the eyes of a rich person? You start looking at all the big buildings and the amount of money that's created that goes through those businesses. Instead of noticing the homeless guy, maybe you notice the guy in the suit or the gal in the suit or all the businesses that are there. And those are individuals that have put themselves out there to quantum leap and create a company to try and change their life by being, doing, and then eventually having more money. Travel has changed my life. And while maybe you can't do it, you can do many versions of that. You can go to where wealthy people hang out, dress different, join clubs, just join speaking clubs, Toastmasters, learn different skills, really go out in the public and start pretending you're rich. And what would you notice? And where are those opportunities? Instead of looking through scarcity, look at the world through wealth eyes. How do you know that your next leap is coming? Well, one, I always say just get in the game and then you're going to start showing up. The universe will conspire to help you if you start thinking and believing and feeling and acting differently. And then you'll start to quantum leap. Signs of a quantum leap. You're uncomfortable. Your old life feels small. Here's the thing. I believe in this, the magic of the universe. I'm sprinkling with my fingers. If you're listening on the podcast, in the video, you'll see it. The 12 laws of the universe come in to conspire for your success. The universe wants you to be successful. I don't believe there is a God that wants you to fail or be poor because it's virtuous. God says he helps those who help themselves. I don't even know, 200 quotes about wealth that has been removed from the scriptures. God is all about wealth. Whatever you believe, whoever you believe and pray to, if it's universe, Mother Earth, whatever it is, I truly believe that creator wants us to be wealthy because when we're wealthy, we have the money, the health to become the best version of ourselves and show up and help the world. We can't do as much if we're in poverty and stinking thinking. So when you get in the game and you say, I'm going to be wealthy, I'm shutting off Netflix, I'm using that time to study, you're going to get nudges. A book's going to come along and you're going to see it again. And you're like, maybe I need to read that. Then you're going to listen to a podcast and then they say this, follow those nudges because I fully believe the universe, it's an odd thing. They'll call it synchronicities. They give you breadcrumbs on the next step. You don't get to see the whole path to California when you set out on the path of chasing your dreams. You get to see 100 feet in front of you, like a car driving at night. That's all your car lights light up because that's all you need to see at the moment. You don't need to see lights from Manitoba to California that blind the world. You need to see the next step, the next 100 feet in front of your car. The number one mistake, let's move as we wrap this up, that people think. I'm going to recap. Quantum leaps happen when you get in the game. They are not magic, but they are magical. They show up when you are being, doing, and eventually you have. And the longer you're in the game, the quantum leaps start to be bigger and bigger because you become the person that can hold great success. Because with great success and money comes great responsibility. If you're not ready, you can blow it just like the lottery winners. So people with quantum leaps, law of attraction, manifesting, they think the big thing at the end comes right away. And while the diehard manifestors and law of attractors and law of assumption people, if they don't fully know, I believe if they haven't done it, There's that hazy stage where they think that teaching those things is enough. No, you need the reality creation, the showing up, the gain in the game. The results and the quantum leaps come as you start scaling the mountain. And then you get the leap to the next level, and then you're prepared for it. Your dreams take time. And isn't that great? Because I've realized I was always so hard and working so hard to get to my dreams. Great, because it got me where I am. But now I realize it's a journey. And for my next leap, I'm taking it a little bit slower because I realize there's a process, an embodiment, a timing, a brewing of knowledge to teach. I wanted to do this Money Boss channel 8 years ago when I started my video and podcast channel for my main company. I wasn't ready. I fully believe my main media channel and that podcast was teaching me the skills. And I needed those 8 years to integrate and continue building wealth and to actually get it. Because not even just a couple years ago, think of that, 15, 14 years ago, I was still a little hazy and not really clear on how it all fit together. And like I said, I was seeing quantum leaping lately, and I'm like, what am I missing? I want a quantum leap. And then I figured out what they're teaching and actually sat on this and learned how to teach you. And I'm like, I've been quantum leaping my whole life, and I will be, and I will continue if I continue to show up for the game. The next mistake people think is quantum leaping is one leap and you get to the end. As I said, that's not the truth. We quantum leap all the time when we do a big change in how we think, feel, act, and then the results. So it's never done. We are just making a commitment, failing, learning, winning, getting back up, recommitting, and leaping again. And life is a series of beautiful moments of climbing that mountain. Perfect analogy. You start climbing. Guess what? You hit a loose rock and you fall. Hopefully, you don't fall all the way down. Hey, that would be, I would consider when a company crashes, that's falling down to the bottom. What do? Do they sit there? Hopefully they're okay. But do they sit there or they probably lick their wounds? There's that. And then they decide, hey, I want this. I'm going back up. And this time I know to avoid that rock, which would be this mistake, right? So quantum leaping is a way of being. It is an action. It is a beautiful thing. It is magic, but not so magical when you think about it. And hopefully, this makes it clear to you on what a quantum leap is. Make sure not to fall back into old habits. You always got to be up leveling. Various times during my career, you get to plateaus, and that's great, I realize, but eerie because all of a sudden you're stuck at an income level or stuck in a job and you're like, oh, it's broken, it's not working. Think of that as divine timing to rest, integrate, learn, dream, plan for the next level. When people are hiking what is it? Mount Everest, they don't go up in one day. They go from this level to this camp. And that could be the equivalent of from here to a raise. And then you're stuck there for maybe a few years. Depends what your journey is. And then all of a sudden you're promoted to the next level. That would be the next base camp. But in between those base camps, you're resting, you're learning, you're taking action, you're becoming the person for the next step. And then you're stepping in and acting that. Does that make sense? Don't fear losing momentum. Just commit, show up, and it is a beautiful journey. It's your hero's journey. Don't look for easy. Look for truth. Look for action. Look for knowledge. Look for wisdom. Because up until the internet, people knew that it took a long time, great wealth, hard work to build a business. Now you can quantum leap and start a business and make money very quick, unlike before the internet. But we do a disservice, all these YouTubers saying, quantum leap, just think you're going to leap into your dreams. Okay, That's not how it works. We do a disservice. That's not how it works. You were on your hero's journey, and I believe your hero's journey, there's a destination, a skill, a dream, a desire that's in you that don't ignore. A base camp, you might not know at the ground level of Mount Everest. You don't know what that is, but you're like, I want to be a business owner. And then you start walking towards that. And if you listen to your Bashar, he would say, listen to what excites you and follow an excitement. It might not make sense, but follow that. If this book excites you, get it and read it because it's going to lead you to the next thing. That's where the law of universe and creator shows up to give you those little secrets. They're like, ooh, Tracy's doing it. Okay, at this stage, she needs this knowledge. Let's show her this book on her Facebook feed again and again. And oh my gosh, she's not listening. Let's show it. Now let's have a person come and mention this book to her. When she finally goes, gosh darn it, I need to read this book. She reads this book and she goes, holy, that's how I do it. And then you start taking action on that book, and there's your quantum leap in your mindset. And then eventually, when you're in the game, in your results. Quantum leaps are available anytime you choose them. Thoughts, beliefs, feelings, actions. You must be first, change on the inside. And as I said, your change on the inside eventually shows up on the outside. It's not tomorrow, it takes a while. I hope this has been helpful. If you follow this, you will not go wrong. 17 years of building media companies against giants, failing, losing, winning, quantum leaping, attracting, manifesting. I'm here to bridge the woo and the do because they're all here. The metaphysical, the mindset, and the physical. You need all three. And when you're playing the game at all three levels and you're in and you're doing reality creation, the quantum leaps will happen. If you enjoyed this, check out the Money Boss Collective. I am here to help you leap into your dreams, build your dream life, make more money. Let's do this. See you next time. Bye, guys.